Alright, so this is part 2 to the What If Female Deku with a Slime villain path. So, I got two villain names that really stood out to me. And I will just set up the wheel of names, and then whichever one it lands on will be her villain name, so give me a minute. Alright. So here are the two villain names, and here we go. Spin the wheel. And this will be her villain name. I think it's pronounced Azuri. I don't know. I'm gonna pronounce it like that. So that will be her villain name, and Killer Queen will be the next villain I will do. Villain, female Deku, what if I will do, so don't worry about that. Now, back to where we were. I believe we got to after the USJ incident, after Shigaraki, Izumi, and everybody else escaped. So, once they went into hiding, the heroes were now on high alert looking for Azuri, Shigaraki, and the rest of the League of Villains. With the UA dorms being implemented a lot earlier due to what had happened in the USG. So, all the students are kept under heavy security now. So, we'll cut forward to when the League of Villains will meet the Yakuza a lot earlier. They'll meet Shisaki's group a lot earlier. Shisaki will bring Eri with him during this meeting to go over what they're creating, as Shisaki states that he's working on creating quirky racing bullets with using Eri as a base, using Eri's blood as a base to it. Now, Izumi would look at Shisaki in disgust, but since she's wearing a mask, he can't really tell the way she's looking at him, but he can tell that she's looking at him with a disgusted look. As Shisaki asked her, is there something wrong, in a threatening way, as he's laying off a low bloodlust. Like, he's laying off bloodlust, like all of it. And it's not really, as Azuri laughs at this, stating that his amount of bloodlust is cute. Let me show you what real bloodlust is, as she lets out all of her bloodlust, as Shisaki and his men literally fall to the ground in fear. As when that happens, in that split moment, while they're down on the ground in fear, the League of Villains end up taking Eri and the bullets as they run off. With Shisaki stating that he'll kill Azuri. And once they get back to the base, Shigaraki begins to reprimand her for pulling that, and stating that they now have the entirety of the Yakuza on them now, not only the heroes, but Azuri tells Shigaraki to cool it, stating that child was going to be used to create weapons that could destroy heroes. But if we raise her right, we won't even need to use the bullets because we'll have her. Now, Azuri still has like a little soft spot for like children and all that, so she'll be the one looking after Eri. While she's looking after Eri, she begins to socialize with Eri, even taking off her mask. As Eri is scared of her at first, but over time, Eri does grow comfortable around her, and she even begins to start smiling around her, which makes Izumi really happy. So here's how I'm going to do this. While she's fighting against heroes or doing any crimes, she'll be going by her villain name. But when she's doing anything else, I will use her real name. So Izumi does look after Eri for a while, and then it gets to all the other. She then goes out, and actually during this time, Shinso and Toga have been wanting to get close with Izumi for a very long time, but they're both arguing about it. And Izumi walks in during one of their arguments about it, as Izumi calms them both down, as she then asks, why were the two of you arguing, as they were both arguing, saying that they were arguing about who would be best suited to be in a relationship with her. I didn't cover this in like the first part or the hero part, but she does change colors depending on her emotional state. So like blue is sort of calm, red is angry, and pink is a sort of embarrassed or flustered. And she immediately turns pink, with her gang flustered, as Shinso and Toga think that they haven't really seen that color before. So, they both ask which one of them would be. Toga and Shinso ask which one of them would be preferable, as Izumi says that she likes the both of them. So Shinso and Toga do agree to be in a three-way relationship. So Toga, Shinso, and Izumi are in a relationship together. As once, and they do end up going out a couple times with Shinso, this will be after the sports festival, since Izumi isn't there won't really be much changes, except for the fact that Shinso ends up getting into class 1A. So Shinso is going to be their little spy, and he will be the UA traitor. So Shinso, Toga, and Izumi are out around the Kashyyyk Mall, I think it was called, where they were looking for supplies for not only the league but Eri as well. Since Izumi is now, it has gone to become like a mother-like figure towards Eri. And Eri sees Izumi as her mother, and she also sees Toga as a mom, and Shinso as a dad. So once that happens, they notice that Shigaraki is holding a boy by a white-haired boy by his neck. And in case you didn't know, this is Izumi's younger brother, who Shigaraki is holding hostage. is holding hostage as he's talking about the hero killer. And just so you know, in this one, Izumi's younger brother does have one for all. And he also has Hizashi's fire-breathing quirk. So, Izumi does see Shigaraki doing this, but she doesn't interfere. And once Shigaraki lets go, he then trails off as he makes his way back to the base with Izumi, Shinso, and Toga head back to the base as well with the supplies, and Eri comes running up to give the three of them a hug. As now, Eri does call. Now here's how it goes. Eri calls Izumi mama. She calls Shinso papa, and she calls Toga mother. As she welcomes them home, as Eri has gone the same happy go-get attitude that she has in canon, with Eri asking, did they bring back any candy apples? With Izumi pulling out three candy apples from the bag, as Eri takes one of them and runs off with it, as she thanks Izumi. So as she then puts everything else away and talks to Shigaraki about the recent plans, Shinso then pulls up that class 1A and 1B will be going to the training camp. Will be going to a training camp this year. So once they've learned that, they then plan their attack around that, as once the time comes, Izumi has Kurogiri look after Eri while she's out doing the mission. And once they step out into where they were supposed to be, actually where the Vanguard Action Squad is in canon. Now, instead of Dabi being the leader of the Vanguard Action Squad, it will be Azura. As she does. Now, Shinso's there, but he's undercover in the UA with the UA right now, so he will still be on their side. So once that happens, Azure, they all go to places they did in canon, but with Muscular being there, Azure does tail him, and she notices that he's going to end up killing a kid. So Azure stops that by stabbing Muscular through the back and out the front of his chest, and sending another spike through Muscular's brain, killing him. As Azure does extend her body out a bit to consume Muscular, as Muscular basically dissolves all of him. Since she's gotten stronger, she now no longer leaves any bone. And Azure does pick up Kota and take him back to where Toga is currently, as Toga does end up escaping from them with Azure stating that Muscular was going to kill a kid, so she killed him. As Toga said, did she leave any blood for her? As she kept the blood because she knew Toga would like that, as she said yes, as Toga then brought out one of her canisters, as Izumi then sprayed the blood in there, with Toga being all happy and saying thank you, Azure. with Kota being confused right now, but he just rolled with it, as she then pulled them down and said, tell them to run back to the group, as she points in the direction where the heroes were. As once she does that, the League does retreat, since they had captured Bakugo and Tokuyami. Actually, they captured Bakugo and Izuri's younger brother. And once they were captured, the League then retreated to the hideout, where while they were interrogating them, Izuri then, as Shigaraki was trying to get Bakugo to join their side, Izuri then started talking to her younger brother, as she then took off her mask and said, well, would you look at that? That bastard Hizashi actually had a younger son. Had another child. Shame he didn't. Be lucky that he didn't throw you out like he did with me. As she takes off her mask, I'm just gonna call her younger brother Izuku, because I am uncreative. As Izuku looks at her face and notices some resemblance to Inko, as Izuku then tells her that she's lying, and Izumi then points out that there is no lie here. I am your oldest sister. And just before she could say anything else, All Might crashes through the wall to save the both of them, with them all being teleported away as they were in canon. With Izumi being without her mask, she then asks Toga for cloth to cover her face with. And Toga hands her one and uses the mask to cover the lower half, like below the nose. As All For One then shows up, and the news is still recording this. As once All Might arrives, Izumi is fighting Izuku alone, while the rest of the League is currently trying to recapture Bakugo. As Izuku then tries to attack her, she manages to restrain him using her slime in like a chain-like fashion, and hoisting him up. As she then tells him a story, and some of you may know this story. This is the story of Theseus. As she tells them that Theseus was a farmer whose city-state was under attack from enemies, and that he had sent himself out into enemy lines, and he had slayed the Minotaur. And she said, and you want to know what his people did to him? They exiled him. He died in disgrace, as Izuku tries to point out that he did save everyone, as she then points out that the Greeks did know the score. As she then pulls Izuku closer to her, as she then, as a bit of her slime does, like, trail off and then turns into a spike, pointing towards Izuku, pointing into Izuku's neck, like not going through it, but in it where you'd notice that it's there. As she then states that the hero society is flawed, and it must be rebuilt. And during this time, All Might is about to finish off All For One with his United States of Smash. When Izumi notices this, as she then that bit of her slime that was on Hizuku's neck then points towards All Might, and just before All Might could land the final blow, his fist stops abruptly as he looks down and notices that one of Izumi's spikes is right through his chest. As All Might does cough up a little bit of blood with... Hold on. As Izumi then removes her spike from All Might's chest, taking out All Might's heart, as it then dissolves in her body. With her stating to the camera that your symbol of peace is dead, and the symbol of fear is still alive. The League of Villains will destroy this hero society and remake it in its own image. As she said that, she then throws Izuku into what's left of a building, as she then uses the rest of her body to devour All Might's body. Since the embers of One For All did not burn out in All Might yet, she does gain a slight power boost that has All Might's version of One For All in it. So she is slightly weaker than Izuku still. She's slightly weaker than Izuku in One For All usage. But in overall power, she is on a much higher level. As she does feel the power of One For All coursing through her, as what was left of All Might's embers basically reignite into All Might's prime One For All state. As Off One is pleased by this, noticing the power boost Izumi got, as she then grabs onto Off One's shoulders and just waves goodbye. Just like waves at the cameras as they both walk through a portal. With the public distraught and saddened by All Might's death, and Endeavor has been moved to the spot of #1 hero. And that is where I'm going to leave it off. I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and part 3 of the villain one will be the finale. So I do hope you enjoy this.